You know, brother, this is something that I've talked about before about how women, when it, for one, I've said this already. Protect your seed and know who you're giving your seed to. But for some reason, women will tear you down. No matter how good of a father you are, a woman will still try to tear you, or the mother will still try to tear you down to make you look like you're a bad father. So, and another thing, some of these women, they don't, if they don't, if they don't get their way and they can't control you, they're going to find somebody else to do it for them, aka the police, the court system, the government. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into this court case. How you doing, ma'am? I'm gonna go ahead and get into this court case, and I'll be chiming in throughout the video.
Plaintiff, Nada Boyson, dated the defendant for 7 years, and they always had trust issues because other women often called and texted him. Nada's suing because she claims after the defendant gave her $5,000 of his tax refund, he took it back. Defendant Curtis Ashley says he's a club promoter, and females often contact him, but for business purposes only. Curtis claims after Nada filed a restraining order against him, falsely accusing him of assault, he was forced to hire an attorney. So he's countersuing for his attorney fees and emotional distress.
Start with you.
Okay, so basically I've been with Mr. Ashley for approximately 7 years. And I feel like although he's a good dad, he betrayed our trust by taking money away from me and my kids. And that's why we're here today.
Y'all notice how the woman says my kids. She didn't say our children. She said my kids, even though that came from him. Very selfish, but let's continue.
So in the beginning of our relationship, everything was okay. And further down the line, I figured that we have trust issues because he had females calling his phone, and I would see text messages, and he would always be on Facebook, like commenting on other females, saying like how beautiful they are, and they would comment on his picture. And I talked to him about it, and I told him, you know, you was being disrespectful. I don't think that it was.
How many times did you have to speak
Several
to him?
times. I mean, it's been 7 years, so it's been several times that I've had to talk to him about it. But he's always like, oh, you're just being insecure, and, you know, it's nothing, we're just friends and all that stuff. And also, as far as me being in a relationship with him, I always did feel like I was a parent to him. You know,
How
we have
so?
2 kids. We have 2 kids, and I work, I go to school, and I'm a full-time mom. And he would come home from work and just sit at home and watch TV or play video games.
That's false.
And
He would come home from work and do it? But he
Right.
did work.
he did work, but I worked too, and I went to school, and I took care of kids. So, I mean,
one
that's
day
a
out
full-time
there.
job
And
itself.
when you mentioned it to him, what would he say?
I'm tired. I just work 8 hours. You don't do hard labor like I do. I just need an hour to myself. I just need to go to sleep. And I'm like, but I've been home with the 1-year-old all day. You know, he's walking around. He's not letting me sleep. I still have to cook.
What shift did you work?
Second shift. When he got home, I would go to work. Before I go to work, I would cook.
And where
Because he
would
would
he
come
be?
home around 3 o'clock. I would leave around 5 to go to work. So I would be cooking and trying to do my son's homework with my son before he went to school because I know that I
And
could
what
be
would he be doing?
sitting down watching TV.
Okay, and when did he go to work then?
He went to work in the morning time,
And got home when?
around 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And I
then-
go to work from 5 to 1, 11.
Okay, so he come home at 3 o'clock and
Right.
relax, and he said, can I relax for an hour?
Yes.
Go ahead, General.
I think we should acknowledge, like, once you get in a committed relationship and all that flirting on people posts, I think it should be some to cease. Like, you should have some kind of respect for your relationship, and then start using the word insecurity for your uncommitment ways. How you feel about this, Slim?
Well, I agree. I do agree with you to a certain extent, but the only reason why I'm not going to fully agree with you is because we only got one side of the story. But if that's how you feel, I could live with it. I can respect that, but again, we only got one side of the story. Remember, the guy's a club promoter, so and him walking inside that courtroom, he looks like a pretty tall dude. So I'm sure that he probably gets looks, and there's probably women that compliment on him, pretty much. So,
But you think, but you think they should do it back on on women's posts on social media?
um, no, but I'm gonna say this: I don't think that I think we let social media control. I think some people let social media control their relationship, and I don't know you good sir, but I don't think it should always be like that. You know what I'm saying? But I do agree with what you're saying. But again, we only got one side of the story.
Okay, let's continue.
All right.
All right. So he come
But you
home
can't
after.
relax?
Hold on,
Okay.
man. He said, I'm just trying to make sense of what you're saying because I
Okay.
don't want. I'm not going to allow you to paint the man as a trifling loser when it sounds like he said he's working all day and when he comes home he just to give me an hour break. That's what you said.
I don't
He
get a
said,
break,
can I
sir.
just pardon me?
I don't get a break.
Okay, let's move on. Go ahead, sir.
First of
Now, before I let him, say what he has to say. Now, she's a mother. So while he's at work I'll just say from 8 to 3, she's at home tending to the children, and she's upset because according to her, she's not helping. I don't really like that. I don't really like that, and I tell a lot of you brothers that a lot of these women they don't want to be mothers. They don't really want to be a mother. At least these modern day women. They don't have a problem having a child, but they really don't want to be a mother. So y'all gotta I think brothers need to establish certain things before they have children with the woman. Know that she wants to be a mother. Let her know that she's gonna have some duties that's gonna be needed. So need y'all brothers to keep that in mind. But let's continue.
all, I mean, like she said, our relationship did have a lot of downfalls. I did club
By
promotions.
the way, a man who doesn't do anything around the house, don't stay with him 7 years. Get somebody who will do something.
Well,
don't stay with a
I had
lazy
hope
guy for
that
7
he would
years,
change.
man. Pardon me?
I hope that he would
For
change.
7 whole years, you hope that he would change.
I mean, I was young
All
when
right.
we started.
Gotcha, ma'am. Go ahead.
I did club promotions, and I would have females contact me for business. She would argue about it, claiming that I'm cheating. Yes, I did comment on some females' picture that were friends of mine. Compliment, yes, the picture is beautiful. Nothing.
Come on,
sexy.
man. You're a club promoter. You know you're out there chasing women.
No, not.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No. These are my friends that I knew for years.
Man, get that to her.
Not the ones that she.
Give her that
she's talking
story.
about. Not the ones she's talking about.
I'm a club promoter, and all of them, I did comment a little on how they look. And you talking about how fine they are. You a club promoter.
No. I don't go that far. I don't go that far. But far as her feeling like she's the adult in a relationship, I mean, I take care of my kids. I love my kids.
She said that.
I'm a good father. When she leaves from work, I take care of the kids. I cook. I clean. I would do 12 hours at work. Come home, it's not even a minute, and she's why you're not cleaning?
That's the impression I get.
Can I get at least an hour break? Take
She
a
said
nap?
that.
But if I'm getting
That's
ready-
certainly treating him like a kid when he says he want an hour, and you say no. No hour. Get to work.
if
That's what you do to the kids. You're
Gives
right.
him a mop.
But if I'm getting ready for work, and I have
We're
a
not doing
1-year-old
this anymore. That's enough. We're not going to nickel and dime and see who took a half-hour break instead of an hour. Let's get to the breach of contract you're suing him for.
Okay, so while we were living together, we were doing our taxes, but he decided to do his taxes first. And we had a verbal agreement that because I stopped working from 20 hours to 35 hours because it was overwhelming. I was only doing just 1 day a week because I was still going to school and I was still taking care of the kids. So I told him that we agreed that since he was getting about $8,000 back, that because he was about to move out maybe in another month, that he would get $3,000 and I would get the remaining, which was approximately about $5,000.
False.
The money was going to be to take care of the kids, and I had a car that needed to be fixed.
Okay, so it's basically an agreement between the two of you. When I get my income tax,
Right.
I'm going to give you $3,000. Is that what you said, or how much?
He's going to get $3,000. I would get $5,000 because I was on.
All right, he said, I'll give you $5,000 when I get my income. So this is
Right.
based on an agreement?
Yes.
All right.
Do 12 hours at work, come home, it's not even a minute, and she's, why you're not cleaning?
That's the impression
You know,
I get.
Can I get at least an hour break?
He
Take a
said
nap?
that.
You know,
But if I'm getting
That's
ready-
certainly treating him like a kid when he says he want an hour. You say, no. No hour. Get to work.
Let me say this real quick, brothers. If you are an eligible black man that's making a decent amount of money, I'm going to tell you, and I don't care what anybody else says, find you a woman outside the United States that has culture and tradition. What's going on? Don't mess with any of these women in the United States. Because they want to be modern, but they still want a traditional man. That's all they want. Basically a lot of them still want to be single. They want a traditional man, but they still want to play single. So again, brothers, my advice to you is find you a woman outside the United States. I know a lot of people ain't gonna like that, but if you do find one outside the United States, just make sure that she has tradition. Because 99.9% of these women here in the United States are bat shit crazy, and they don't care about nobody but themselves. And that is the truth. I don't care who hates me. Let's continue.
Plaintiff, not a boy's son, dated the defendant, and she claims after they broke up, the defendant pushed her, and she was forced to file a restraining order against him.
So what happened?
On March the 13th, he actually found a text message from another guy on my phone. He got upset. We had an argument, and the police was called because one of the next door neighbors called the police because I guess they heard.
Didn't she threw a lot of shade at this man when she said that he was over here liking pictures and all this stuff with females and trust issues, and then he finds a message from another man. But let's continue.
Yes, they heard arguing and yelling. They came by, and no charges were pressed. So they ended up leaving.
Okay, you're getting to the legal issues. Let's continue with the breach of contract. What happened with the money?
I went out of town maybe 2 or 3 days after that, and when I came back, I filed a restraining order.
Why?
Because of what he did.
What did he do?
He pushed me. It was an altercation, and he pushed me.
Before the police came?
Brothers, did you hear that? I think she said 3 or 4 days later, or maybe 5 days, she files a restraining order. But listen to why she did that. Let's continue.
Right.
Okay.
That's the reason
Let's see
that
the
the next
police
door.
report. Let's see the police report. Now, why don't you just read to me the part where you told them he pushed you?
6 days
When they came-
later.
All right, whenever you told the police that, let me see. Oh, you told them 6 days later?
6 days later.
You didn't tell, hold on. When the
Okay.
police came, when
Right.
you called the police that day.
Well, no. I didn't call the police that day. Someone else didn't.
All right, so when they came,
Right.
what did you tell them?
I told them that we were just arguing
Why didn't you tell him he had pushed you?
because I didn't want him to get arrested.
So 6 days later, why did you want him to
I
get
went out of
arrested?
town and I thought about it, and I felt like it was it wasn't right for him to do that. So
It wasn't right for him to push you.
Yeah, put his
You hadn't
hands on
thought
me.
about it when the police came the first time. You thought it was right then.
no, I didn't think it was right.
So
but
why
I
did it
said I
take you
didn't want him
6
to get-
days?
I didn't want him to get arrested. I loved him, so I mean, regardless if we had
All right, so why
altercation,
6?
I didn't want
Hold
him.
on. So why 6 days later did you decide you did want him to get arrested?
No, I didn't say I wanted him to get arrested.
When
I
you
just
tell,
wanted
so
to be
when you tell,
straightened.
hold on. When you tell the police you were assaulted, that's what they do. They arrest the people who assault you.
I went for
6 days later. 6 days later, she files a police report. And this man, well, he's going to tell the story, but why wait 6 days later? And she says she did not want him to get arrested because, according to her, she loved him. keep telling y'all, brothers, these women don't love you. They love what you can do for them. That's that's how it is in today's modern days, brothers. I'm going to say it one more time. These women don't love you. They love what you can do for them. I'm going to just say 99.9% of them. But let's continue.
For a restraining order, sir.
You did what many, many people do, men and women. They find a way to get at the man that they're mad at. And it's very easy to go down and say, give me a restraining order. And you waited 6 days to go and get the restraining order.
I was out of town.
Okay, so when you came back, what did you think was going to happen?
When I came back, that's when I...
What did you think would happen when you came back to cause you to get a restraining order?
That he wasn't able to just come, because he still had the key to my house. I didn't want him to be able to just to come back to the house and maybe just to come in or get the car or just, because when I came back, I found out he left and he ended up taking the, like the table, the washer and dryer, and like little stuff from the house, just like pictures and stuff. It was both of us.
Okay.
Both of us, yes.
All right, let me hear your side, sir.
Okay. I never had an agreement of a certain amount that I was going to give her. I agreed that I would help her,
Help her take care of your kids?
Help her pay the bills because she wasn't
You lived
working.
there?
No, when I moved out, I agreed to her that.
No, we're talking about when you lived there. She
Okay.
says when you lived there, the two of you decided that she would get $5,000.
No, I agreed that I would help her out until she
There was
gets
never
a job.
a mention of $5,000?
No.
You
sir.
never said, I'll give you $5,000?
No.
All right, what do you want to tell me about this restraining order? You have a copy?
No, I don't have a copy. This is the only one I have.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You don't have a copy of the restraining order?
It disappeared out of my car.
Go ahead.
The day that I seen the text message, I got upset. I was yelling. We was arguing. I never touched her. The police came. They asked me if she hit me or anything like that, if I wanted to press any charges. I told them no. They asked her the same thing. She said
I know,
no.
that's why I gave her a hard time. I'm tired of people going to a court saying, I want a restraining order. Cause a man all these problems when all they've done is had an argument. Restraining orders, in many, many instances, are used to retaliate at somebody you're mad at. It's used all the time. And we're going to find out what happened in that restraining order. First of all, let's get by this $5,000. You have anything showing he agreed to pay $5,000?
Not $5,000, but I have an audio stating that he was going to pay me the money back. It doesn't specifically.
Does it say how much?
It doesn't say specifically.
Okay, he says he agreed to pay you some money.
So how much did he agree to pay me?
Sorry?
It wasn't a certain amount. It was just until she gets a job.
All right, but you did pay her some money?
Yes, I gave her.
Okay. Did he
some
give
money.
you some money?
No, when did he give me money?
He never gave you any money?
I gave you $700.
Hold on. He never gave you any money?
After the income tax came?
Yes.
Yes.
He did.
Yes.
Why do you have to be so direct with the woman? Why? He asked her a direct question and she's still flip-flopping. Why is she doing that? I just don't understand. But let's continue.
Go ahead, sir.
To pay my rent.
Now let's get to your counterclaim for a lawyer fee. I suspect this means this is dealing with the restraining order that I believe she falsely put on you.
I had the restraining order put on me, and that I wouldn't be able to see my kids for a whole year, and I cannot allow that. I take care of my kids on Saturdays. It's me and the boys' days. She knows that's important to me. And for that restraining order, I couldn't allow that. And the money I used for a lawyer for the restraining order, and I did beat that case.
What happened?
Because I dismissed it.
That's crazy. And of course she's saying that she dismissed it. So even if that was the case, why even go through all that? Why would you go through all of that and put him through that? But brothers, let me tell you something. This is stuff that will mess your whole life up. And I have another video where a woman did something similar, where she sent the SWAT team on a man and messed his whole life up, all because she didn't get her way. And this is pretty much the same thing. She didn't get her way, so what she did was, let me go call the white man. Yes, I said it. She called the Caucasian and to go get him because she couldn't control him. That's exactly what she did. And a lot of these women do that. They will go to the police. Oh, I can't control. Let me go get the white man to do it for me. And get these brothers in jail and mess their whole life up. Messing up their job, messing up their money. And you think they care? And some of these men have kids. This man had to spend probably thousands of dollars for a lawyer just so he can get it dropped. And of course she says, it got dismissed. Like you helped. You had the whole situation, and now you did a great job, ma'am. Great job, but let's continue.
What did they say
the day of
the hearing?
The day of, she dropped the case. On the day of.
Ma'am?
I was doing it for my kids, that's why.
I had this.
What do you mean you were doing it for your kids? You were doing it for your kids? You put the restraining order on him, and now then you dropped it for and again, your whatever. Let's continue.
The restraining order put on me, and I wouldn't be able to see my kids for a whole year, and I cannot allow that. I couldn't allow that, and the money I used for a lawyer for the restraining order, and I did beat that case.
Plaintiff, not a boy's son, dated the defendant, and she claims after they broke up, the defendant pushed her, and she was forced to file a restraining order against him.
Ma'am, I'm going to decide that you retaliated against him for an argument you all had. You say that he pushed you, and 6 days later, that's when you decided you need a restraining order. 6 days later, then you dismiss it. So I'm going to conclude that you did it to retaliate against him like people do so often. I'm going to conclude that you are one of those people. And therefore, I'm going to grant you your lawyer fee and your emotional distress claim of $3,400, and I'm going to dismiss yours. Have a good day.
Brothers, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of these women need to be charged. You have a lot, and this is exactly why a lot of men tolerate this stuff, because they know what can happen. They know. And I was a little bit joking about going overseas, but at the same time I was serious, so I don't really care. But brothers, at the end of the day, brothers, you don't have to tolerate this stuff. You do not have to tolerate this stuff from these women. But that's what we're taught. Let's finish this out.
I'm done. As long as he take his kids, I'm fine.
I'll always be there for her support. She is the mother of my child, and I'll always be there for my kids to support them also. As far as our relationship, I don't want no negativity because of the fact of the kids, but, that's her decision of what she want to do. But as far as me, I'm going to be a good father to my kids.
Even after all of that, brothers, he didn't even say anything negative. And all she could say was, as long as he take care of his kids. Brothers, make sure that you give your seed to the right person. You need to BET these women. Bet them. But that's pretty much it.